we're going to take a last look at the last topic here in our review unit, and for some stuff out of box 1E here. We're going to look at how do we substitute values into formula and get a little bit of practice using formulas, particularly those that we use to calculate perimeter, area, and volume. So, first off, substituting into formulas. Let's say we've got a formula like y equals 3x to the power of 4, and we've got a value of x that we're given, x is equal to 2. When I say substitute, I mean we want to replace each x in the expression, 3x to the power of 4, with our value of x, or with the number 2. And usually what we want to do is we want to evaluate, simplify it so that we have a single number. So let's do that. We're going to have y equals 3, and then what I'm going to do is everywhere I see an x, I'm just going to put a set of empty brackets, okay, and I keep everything in the formula exactly the same. So instead of an x, I've got those empty brackets there, and then I'm going to take my value of x and I'm going to put it into those empty brackets, and the brackets just help keep everything kind of organized. Now I can evaluate this expression using order of operations. There's no operation inside the brackets, so I'm going to do my exponents first. And I know that 2 to the power of 4 just means 2 times itself 4 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And that's going to be 16. Okay. And then finally, I do my multiplication step here. 3 times 16 is 48. So I have substituted by putting the 2 in for x, and I've evaluated to get my final answer. Let's do another example here. I got a second formula, h equals x plus 5 to the power of x. We'll use the same value of x as we did before, x equals 2. So we'll rewrite our formula here, just putting brackets in where we see that x. Okay, and then we'll sub our 2 into those brackets. And now let's evaluate. We want to do the operations inside the brackets first, so there's nothing inside the 2 brackets here, so we go to the next biggest brackets. 2 plus 5 gives us 7, so we're going to have 7 to the power of 2, and 7 to the power of 2 just means 7 times 7, so that'll be 49. And there's our evaluated answer. Now, as promised, we're going to use these formulas here to find the perimeter of a shape here. So first thing we do is we identify the shape. This shape here is a parallelogram because the opposite sides are parallel to one another. And we want to find the perimeter, which is the distance around the object, around the outside. So you've got a formula sheet there. If we take a look at our formula sheet, we find our parallelogram, and we look under the column that says perimeter, and it tells us that the perimeter is equal to b plus c plus b plus c. And on the diagram, they label one side b and the other side c. So we know that our b is equal to 8, our c is equal to 4, so we can just sub those into our formula here. 8, oh, we've got our plus sign there. 8 plus 4 plus 8 plus 4. Okay. Add that all up, and we get 24. And we have to not forget our units here. So our b and c were in centimeters, so our perimeter is going to be in centimeters as well. So basically, we're just adding up the length of every side going around the outside of this shape. Next up, we want to find the area of this shape. Now remember, area is the amount of space that the shape covers, or the flat space that it covers. So first, we look on our formula sheet. Well, first we identify what kind of shape we have here. We have a circle. We look on our formula sheet, and we find the formula for the area of a circle. And what we find is that a equals pi r squared. Now, we look at our shape here. We have to think about what our well, what does R represent here? R represents the radius. Okay? They're telling us here that the diameter is 20 meters, so our radius is half of that. And we also have this thing pi here. Remember, we can sub in 3.14 for pi, 10 for our radius, and then we square it. And then we evaluate using order of operations. We're going to do that exponent first. 10 squared is 10 times 10, or 100. And then punch it into our calculator. 3.14 times 100 gives us 314. And our units are going to be meters squared. Okay? Anytime you're dealing with area, your units are going to be something squared. One final example here, we are going to find the volume, okay, or the amount of space that it takes up in 3 dimensions. Okay. First thing we have to do is identify the kind of shape we have here. Well, we have a rectangular prism. So if we look at our formula sheet for the volume of a rectangular prism, we see 2 formulas there. We see area of the base times height, or we see another one, and the one that we want to use is volume equals L times W times H. Okay? L is the length, W is the width, and H is the height. So we're going to use length here of 20 centimeters, width of 15 centimeters, and a height of 9 centimeters. And really, it doesn't matter which one you choose to be your length, your width, and your height, because we're just multiplying them all together. So let's sub our values into our formula here. We're going to put brackets for each one of our 3 variables, and we're going to put in 20, 15, and 9, and then we're just multiplying these 3 things together. And I would just punch this into our calculator, 20 times 15 times 9, and we get 2,700. What are our units going to be? Well, our length, width, and height are all in centimeters. So our volume is going to be centimeters cubed. So there we are. Volume, area, perimeter, all evaluated using by substituting into formulas.